everyone. My name is Mayank, and I'm a sophomore here at Oswego. I'm super excited to host this session called My Career, My Identity and My Career, where I'm going to talk to an Oswego alum about how they have come to understand their own identity throughout their career. They'll also share some advice for students who are currently navigating through their own identities. If you like hearing their story and if you like our conversation today, do check out the link in the bio for more info, where you can find conversation for other Oswego alums and conversation about their own journey. If you so before I introduce you all to our alum today, I'm gonna tell you something about myself. So I'm in the electrical and computer engineering major, and on campus, I'm also involved in International Students Association as a country representative for India. I live in Hart Hall, and I work as a DA in the same building. So tonight, a very interesting person would be joining us, and her name is Charlene Assam. She earned her BS in Accounting and MBA in Public Accounting from SUNY Oswego in batch of 2016 and 17, respectively. She will be joining us soon, and then uh, our we can talk about how she found out the importance of her identity and how important someone's personal identity plays the important role in their life. So I'm just waiting for her to join. Oh, I see a very interesting question in the chat, and it says, "What's my favorite part of living in Hartwell?" Well, it's definitely got to be the community in which, amongst which I live here. Hartwell has some really great people, including the staff and my fellow residents. They're all some really wonderful people, and they just make me feel home, even though I'm so far away from my home. Uh, it doesn't feel like it.
Hey, hi, Charlene. It's so nice to see you. I was just talking about you, and I told everyone about your class year and what program you were involved in Oswego. Well, they would love to hear some more about you, what you do right now, and how was your time in Oswego?
Yes, for sure. Can you hear me clearly? That's the first
I
question.
can.
All
I
right.
can hear you very well.
All right, perfect. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties. I kept requesting
Yeah,
to work.
right. It's all right.
Yes, all right. Hi, everybody. I am Charlene, and it's very, very exciting to be here. So, I definitely did go to Oswego. I graduated with my undergrad in 2016, and then I did the 5-year accounting program. So I finished in 2017 with my MBA in public accounting. Of course, you can hear from my accent, I am from Cameroon, which is in West Africa. So I actually moved to the US in 2012, right before Oswego came and joined. I lived in Hartford. You mentioned Hart. I lived in Hartford for 2 years, and then I lived in Sheldon for my senior year. So that's just a little bit about me. I currently also I work in for PricewaterhouseCoopers. It's a public accounting firm and I used to be based out of New York up until September of last year, and I'm recently relocated to Atlanta, Georgia, and still working for PricewaterhouseCoopers. I am currently a senior. I'm a senior auditor, and yeah.
That's wonderful. So Charlene, since you are also an international student, and I'm also an international student, so what motivated you in this journey to come to US and do what you're doing today in accounting? Like, what was the first motivation? Like, what was your source of motivation?
Yes, for sure. So growing up, my mentor was a CPA as well, and she lived in Cameroon, and I used to babysit her kids. So I would spend a lot of time with them. I literally carried every single one of her kids, and she has 3 kids now. So, spending a lot of time with her, I was like, you know what, I want to do whatever you're doing, because I thought her job was cool. I liked everything that she was doing. So I was like, you know what, I'm definitely going to join. Definitely going to venture and do that. So I started doing my research. So funny fact about me, I actually wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to go to FIT. That was my goal. I really wanted to do fashion. But at the same time, so I still like accounting. And I was like, okay, I'll do 4 years in Oswego. And then I'll go to FIT and do my do a degree or something in fashion design. But slowly but surely, like, that kind of faded away. And I was like, fashion is not for me anymore. I was like, I don't want to do that. So kind of how I decided. And then coming to Oswego, I just wanted to, I was, looking for a school. I knew for sure I wanted to study accounting, but it was just one of those things that, like, where my sister was in Oswego at the time. So that's kind of how it helped a little bit my decision. And then I knew for sure I wanted to do accounting. So that's how I stuck with it and everything. So yeah.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. So, like, since very early childhood, you knew that that's what you want to do, right?
Not like super early, but like, yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
a good interest in it, because I had also researched a lot, right? Because also I realized a lot of times, we tend to make decisions like you're not really sure, like, have you done your research? Have you done your homework and your due diligence?
Right.
So I decided I did my homework, right? I talked to a lot of people. I made sure that
Mhm.
I asked a lot of questions. I will talk more about this. That's what I spent a lot of my time in Oswego. You could ask any professor in the business. They knew me by name, because I was just that person. Like, because I was like, I want to make a good decision, right, with whatever it is I'm career. So, and that's something
Mhm.
I always encourage people is ask as many, 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 many questions, because you just
Right.
get different points of view, different perspectives, and then that would help you be able to determine, okay, is this really what?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, yeah, like, that really seems like a very great thing to do, like reaching out to people, learning as much as you can from as many people as you can, because everyone can share some values to you, and that's literally a wonderful thing to do. So, as you like came from Africa to US, you went through so many changes because um, being an international student, I can see that there are a lot of cultural differences. So, what were the few cultural shocks that you faced in the beginning?
Yeah. I think the first thing was like the snow, of course. Like, I'm coming from Cameroon, there's no snow in Cameroon.
Right,
So then I came, and then Oswego, I was like, oh my God, like, what is going on? So that was a big shock, right? The snow and everything.
right.
In terms of culture, let me see. Okay, so this is just something academics that I realized. So in
Hmm.
in Cameroon, you have one exam like at the end of the semester or end of the term.
Right.
But then in America, like, you have several exams throughout the semester. Showing up to class, you get points for that.
Right.
Almost like if you don't show up to class, how are you going to pass? So, but
Right.
if you go into class, you get points and everything. So that was very different. Of course, I loved it. I wouldn't complain.
Right.
For me, I think it was really good. But yeah, that was very different. And then I think also the whole system of gen eds, like when
Uh-huh.
the last time I took any science looking class, bio was like, I'm pretty sure I was like 12 or 13. Like I couldn't
Right.
see and the science, like we're not friends. Like I'm good at
Yeah.
don't
Right.
physics. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. So that was
Mhm.
like I remember I had his name is Dr. McDonald. I'm pretty sure in the school of he was my bio teacher. This
Uh-huh.
guy was so patient. I used to go to his office. I'm like, I don't understand what a cell is. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you need to explain to me. So it was very interesting. So that was a big shock as well that everybody has to do those before
Mhm.
taking the major classes and stuff. But you get adapted.
Right.
Then you just kind of
Right. Yeah, that's wonderful. So, Charlie, would you say your identity has played a part in your path so far? And how important do you think it is for people to embrace their unique identity?
yes, that's a snaps. I'm gonna snap. That's a very powerful question. I think honestly, I'll start with the second question, the second part of the question, right? Embracing your identity in life, and I think I've learned this so far, right? You
Mhm.
cannot truly be yourself if you really embrace who you are. You're actually doing yourself a really
Right.
disservice by not being true to yourself. Imagine waking up every day and trying to
Mhm.
say, okay, let me give you a true example. I'm a very talkative person. This is me half the time. I'm always doing this, like always
Right.
talking. I just woke up every single day and I'm like just quiet, just like in my zone. I'm not an introvert whatsoever. But imagine if I
Mhm.
woke up every day doing that. I'm literally living outside of who I am as a person, right? And it just does
Mhm.
not feel good. I think that it's so important that you really embrace who you are. And I think more importantly, never apologize for who you are. I think, especially
Right.
when you guys get into the career world, all that kind of stuff, you will see corporate America, everybody just acts a certain way. You have like who you are is really who people value. I always say
Mhm.
a lot of times when people sell and everything, people don't buy it because you sell a great product. They buy it because of the person behind that product, behind the company, behind the notion. When you see that a lot of people support like a particular brand or company, value behind that. So you need to
Right.
really, really be true to yourself. Don't apologize for who you are. As long as what you do does not hurt anybody in terms of
Right.
think, it's so powerful, right? And I'll give you a true example. The other day I was asking my friend, because you guys know I do YouTube as well. So I was trying to record something and I was like, I feel like I asked him, I was like, do you think I should change my accent a little bit so I can sound a bit more American or something? And it was so shocking, even for me. I'm talking about this, but this is something that I faced, right? And this
Right.
is a couple of years, this is like about 2 weeks ago that we had this conversation. And he's like, absolutely not. People love you for who you are.
Right.
Even with your accents, that's who you are. So it really
Right.
just showed me that, you just have to embrace it. And then I think
Mhm.
also one thing that helped me was when I came from Cameroon, I
Mhm.
know I had to find a job. I was
Right.
like that was my sole focus. Like if our conversation was not leading to getting a job, I don't
Right.
talk about it. Like it had to do with me. So but driven was because of like
Right.
right? I knew I can
Mhm.
come to America, I had to succeed. People were
Right.
like, oh, why were you so driven? I'm like, because my parents didn't give me an option. They said 4 years
Right.
we're paying for. You're not going to school for much longer. We are not paying for any additional.
Right.
So I
Right.
knew that I had to succeed. And it was just kind of like, African culture with like pushing
Right.
to make sure that you're successful, that kind of thing. So I think altogether, kind of accumulating all that stuff, it really has
Right.
helped me embrace who I am and not feel
Right.
intimidated nor pain, but just,
Mhm.
understand that And everybody is so unique, you know. You do
Right.
the world and you do your service by not bringing your whole self to the table. People want to see it. We want to see it. We want to see you
Right.
shine. So it's important that you just, you know, when you
Right.
love yourself, it will put out and people will see that. Yeah.
Well, that's a wonderful take that never apologize for who you are. Like I was able to see people like reacting to it, and that's really something that like that's the highlight of my day. I would say that because that's something great that I learned today, and I'm definitely going to keep it in mind. Because sometimes, as you said about your YouTube channel and like changing your accent, sometimes even like being an international student, we feel out of place, and we be like, what if we change some things about ourselves? But as you mentioned, that no, our identity is what defines us. It's what makes us unique. So we should never feel shy or apologetic about it. So that's
Exactly.
wonderful.
Yes, and even the whole accent thing is so important because even when I was in Oswego, you know, I remember and
Mhm.
this very true story. Freshman year, not everybody used to talk to me in the business school because they're like, "Oh, that one black girl with the accent." But
Right,
the minute I started getting internships, everybody wanted to was like, "Oh,
right,
you get this? Oh, Shirley, how did you get?" And I was like, "The girl with the accent." Like,
right,
so
right,
you cannot feel like honestly, we're all so unique. Feel so good
right,
about who we are. I said about that.
right.
Sorry about.
Yeah, you're sorry. No,
All right.
you're good. You're good. Yeah. So, like as you said, right, your uniqueness becomes your identity when you succeed, and we just need to keep like holding on to it and never let go of it. And that's a wonderful take that I will take home from this interview. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna motivate me a whole lot more as we proceed. So, one thing that I personally felt a lot was the society that I had back home in India, and the society uh, of which I am part right now in US. They were very different. Like they are very different. So, like as you said, even in India, it's like very forcing, pressurizing, or as from our parents' point of view, we're very goal-driven society. Like they tell you that yes, you have 4 years, and of the 4 years, you have to have either a great job or a great grad school, right? So like, however, here it's more supportive. It's like you do whatever best you can do, right? So there are like two different types of societies, and just like me, you have also like uh, been through a transition, and you are much ahead in life than what I am. So you have much more experience. So my next question is that how do you think that the society play a part in shaping your identity?
Yes, absolutely. So the first thing I want to say, especially for people who come from different countries, right? Like any immigrants, it's okay
Yeah,
to assimilate. It's okay to assimilate. You're in a different country. It's okay to take different aspects of that country and
right,
integrate that in your life. I don't think that because I find it a bit weird that people come to America and you're still living a life like you're in Africa or you're like in India, even though you're in America. I'm like, it doesn't
right,
work away, right? Like you're in America, it's good to embrace things. So for me, I think the piece of advice I would give is find a balance, right? You never
hmm,
lose yourself. And I don't even, and you want to make sure that, okay, you're still keeping your cultural values, whatever is of importance to you, you make sure that you're prioritizing that and you're keeping that as important to you. I will give you an example, right? As an African, I know that we call everybody auntie and uncle, even if you're not related to me.
right.
That's my uncle
That's true.
like that, right? In America, it's not necessarily like that, right? Some people
Mhm.
just call your parents' mom by your friends' parents by their names. I
Right,
till today, even my American friends, their parents, I still call them auntie this, uncle this.
right.
I would never call them by their first name. So for me, that's an important cultural factor because people don't do it in America. Doesn't mean that I'm
Mhm.
change who I am. But one thing that I've kind of switched is in America, you have to be a go getter. If you don't
Okay.
say what you want, people
Right.
give it to you. Nobody hands out free information. That's why I
Yeah.
encourage everybody. You need to ask. If you don't ask,
Mhm.
you'll never get it. I'm
Right.
Christian Catholic, right? Even the Bible says it, ask and you shall receive. Whatever you
Right.
profess your mouth, that is what you manifest in life. Like, so if you don't ask, if you don't demand it, you are not going to get it. And that's something I had to learn in America. Back home, they say go to school, do this, do that. In America, you have to go for it. If you want to find a job, you have to go get the new job. If you want a new career, if you're interested in it, you have to ask. A lot of the opportunities I got in Oswego was because I went out and asked. I asked professors, I was like, I'm interested in this. I was like, do you guys have any openings? You mentioned you were a DA. I was a desk attendant as well in scale. So
That's wonderful.
even I used to work at Crossroads, and then I worked at the Smooth Face Fans as well. For all those jobs, I just asked. I was like, "Are you guys hiring? Because I need a job." And they were like, "What time can you come?" And I was like, "Exactly."
Yeah.
So I have to ask, and that's something that I've adapted as well from the American culture. And it's amazing how much opportunity you when you actually vocalize it and you do the work behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Charlie, like you are full of so many great values. So, one thing that I would like to ask you, which is like slightly off the topic, like I come across such situation in my life personally, and I know many people in my life uh, who wants to get something, but they feel very shy to get out of their comfort zone and seek for it. So, what would you suggest, like people like me who be shy at times to come out of our comfort zone? What would you suggest us to do differently, or what point of view you would suggest us to have?
Okay, yeah, for sure. And let me just say this right. As much as I talk with confidence, I've had to work on it. One thing that
Hmm.
helped me a lot is reading a lot. So there's a book that I read. It says what you say when you talk to yourself. A lot of the time, we are
Hmm.
our best critic. It's like, oh, don't think I'm this, don't think I'm that. Everything that you think is in your head. Nobody
Yeah.
else knows what's going on. So even if you
Right.
feel intimidated or you feel some way shy, remember that people only receive what you send out. If you give them a signal of intimidation, that's what they will receive. You
Hmm.
actually have heard the term fake it till you make it.
Right.
It's not easy, and I don't want to say like it's easy, but you just have to try to break out of your comfort zone because, like I mentioned, right, in America, you have to go for it. Like, nobody
Right.
will give it to you. Some people get it on a silver platter, but I'm an immigrant. Like,
Right.
nobody is going to just out here give it to me. So I know that for everything that I want or everything that I desire, I have to ask. The other day I was I sell juice on the side, right? I started a
Okay.
small sell juice, and I was trying to
Right.
figure out like a potential business idea how to scale.
Right.
Was the person who was doing my hair. I just asked him. I was like, this I'm new to Atlanta, blah blah blah. I'm thinking about this, and then he was
Hmm.
like, oh yeah, this and this. I got my answer that day, just like
Right. Right.
you have to just try. I read a lot, and then I read this
Hmm.
other book. It says it's called How to Be a Badass. Very very good book. It teach like that book literally
Right.
pump your self esteem, and it's really
Okay.
well. So reading a lot has helped me, and it just
Right.
means that like you as an individual, and then another thing, you have to trust yourself and trust the value that you bring. You need
Right.
to know the value that you bring because when you bring a lot of value, nobody can tell
Hmm.
you otherwise. You have a lot,
Right.
and you wouldn't feel as shy or as
Right.
intimidated. So you just have to go for it. It will be hard at first, but the more you do it,
Hmm.
the better you become.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, leading to our next question, since graduating, how have you learned more about your identity and the value it has brought to you as a professional?
Yes, this is I love this question. So, doing YouTube, my YouTube channel has really allowed me to see what my purpose is. So, I
Hmm.
actually had a YouTube in Oswego, but I wasn't serious about it. I was just joking around half the time. But the more I started doing YouTube, the more I started, talking to people because I'll have people on my channel, and this
Hmm.
channel page, The Migrant Hope, if anybody wants to check it out
Yeah.
channel. So the more I started having conversations with people, I realized one thing about myself was I know how to talk. The same
Hmm.
way, this, I've talked about the fact that I talk a lot. This was
Right.
it, that growing up, I was not, people always used to kind of shame me for,
Mhm.
it's like, you talk too much, you talk too much. But I
Right.
realized that this talking is actually my gift. And this is what
Right.
I was sent here to do. It's to bring people together through conversation. So
Mhm.
in finding my identity, I explored a lot of stuff. So if you're someone who, post graduation and you're just not sure what your purpose is, I would say try out a lot of things. You're not going to sit down and figure out what your purpose is, figure out what you want to do just from sitting down. Like I said, you have to go out and do things.
Right.
You try out a lot of things that interest you. Try it out because it's in doing that you actually find your purpose, you find your identity. So you cannot just read and not practice it. You cannot just say it and not practice
Right.
it. So you have to go out of your way to do those things so that ultimately you're going to be able to figure out what exactly my identity is, where I fall in this world. Because not, I saw this quote the other day, because you are somewhere does not mean you belong there. So it doesn't mean
Right. Wonderful.
in a particular place in life, that's where you belong. So you need to keep, it's a one day at a time, and you're not going to figure it out. Today, I'm in love with YouTube. Who knows? Maybe 10 years from now, I'll be like, no, thank you. So,
Right.
journey, I'm a very spontaneous.
Right.
For now, I'm enjoying it. I really believe I'm living out my purpose right now.
Mhm.
Who knows, maybe God will say 10 years, okay, this is something else that I want to transition you to. And then
Right.
that you kind of go with.
Right.
So
Right.
it would change with time, but you have to go out. You, like I said, you have to keep doing things, do things that interest you. If you're somebody who likes taking pictures, buy a camera and start taking pictures, right? If you're somebody who likes visual storytelling, start on your Instagram, start talking about different things. If you're an activist, start doing something. When you do stuff, that's when you find your purpose. That's when you find your true identity in that.
That's wonderful. Finding our true identity and then building a career out of it. Then it's always like every day is a fun. So how would you how would you suggest someone to deal with setbacks? Like you said that people used to always call you out for talking so much. Or it's just like a very tiny example. I'm sure you must have been through some major setbacks in your life. So how did you deal with setbacks? How did you deal with failure?
Yeah. Oh, let me start with failure. Christy is on the call. She knows. So my last year of Oswego, when I was doing my MBA, I was studying for my CPA. I used to work in the Career Service Center as well. And then I was teaching an accounting class. And
Mhm.
my grandmom died during all of that. And, if you, about me, everything I do in life was because of her. Like, every single thing. She's the one who made me come to America, like everything.
Right.
She passed away, and when I tell you, like, I felt like that was it for me. Like, I just felt like there was
Right.
no way after that for me because I was doing everything for her, all that.
Mhm.
But you have to just sit back and think, right? Like, she got to live a life till she was 80 something. I was only 22 or 21 at the time. So even though it was a big setback for me, and then I was studying for the CPA, I was failing some, the test was hard. So I failed a couple of them. I passed a couple, but you just have to keep going. Remember what your goal is. And I would say this, before you venture out to anything, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why is
Right.
my major electrical and computer engineering? Why is my major accounting? Why is my major broadcasting? If you know the reason why you're doing something,
Right.
you'll be able to stand up. You know,
Right.
for example, the other day I was feeling down about my YouTube. I was telling one of my friends, I was like, I've been doing this for like 2 years. My growth is not as much as I want it to be. It made me feel bad because my job is very, very time consuming. And I
Mhm.
always, no matter what, I always carve out time for my YouTube, but I'm not
Right.
final results. And I just had to remind myself of the couple of people who have benefited from the information I've spread. The couple of
Right.
people always reach out to me, the attendance I always get at my events. And I had to remember the purpose with which I'm doing this. And it just
Mhm.
said, hey, even though I was feeling bad about this, this was last week, Saturday, actually. On Sunday morning, I woke up and I still recorded videos. So
Right.
regardless of how I feel, I still try to make sure that because I have a why, it helps me that even if I go through a setback, I wake up. And your why could be anything. It could be making your parents proud. It could be so that you can get
Right.
a job, you can
Right.
get money, you can make good money and all that stuff. So as long as you have a strong why, you would always wake up. You would always stand back up.
That's wonderful. Right. That's really wonderful. So, Charlene, I would really thank you for giving us your time. And before you leave, since you have given us so many golden words to keep up to, I would just ask you one last thing. Few words of motivation or suggestion that you would like to give all of us before you leave.
Yes. This year, I keep telling everybody, 2021 should be your year to level up. Whatever you do, go for it. Be bold at every decision that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Trust yourself, trust your intuition before you make any decision, and go for it. Right? Don't hold
Right.
yourself back. Go for it because we are all so gifted. Everybody listening here is very gifted, very has a lot to offer the world, and we want to see that. We want to be able to praise you. We want to repost your stuff on social media. We want to be able to
Right.
see your praises. So I would just encourage everybody, just go for whatever it is that you want, and don't feel sorry. Don't apologize for who you are. This is you.
That's
And
wonderful.
it. Like we want to see the true you. So don't apologize.
Thank you so much. This was really wonderful. And now I feel so confident about myself
Yeah.
and all the thanks to you. So thanks for your time. I will if anyone has any questions to Charlene, you guys can put it up in chat and Charlene would be like more than happy to address them.
Yes, for sure. I guess so. I can ask you a question while if we're waiting for any questions in the meantime.
Uh-huh.
How are you liking Oswego so far?
Well, I am loving Oswego. First of all, it's because many people, like my friends, honestly, they'd be like, I've been here during summer and winter breaks, and they were like, but there's no one on campus. How do you deal? Don't you get bored and everything? But honestly, that's the beauty of our campus. Like, it's such a wonderful campus. There have been days when I've been on my low. I just go out, I take a walk, and I'm a person who really admires nature a lot, and that really makes me feel happy from inside. And uh, and as you said, I also had like certain setbacks in my life, but I always learned from them and I kept on working on them. So the breaks period, I really used them to do the things that I didn't do right during the semester. Like for example, say if I get bad grades on certain class, I went back to the material of that class and I read during the breaks, and that's how I spent most of my time. And one more thing that I can relate with you is that I reached out to people. I reached out to my professors, my seniors, my friends, and I tried to learn and teach as much as I can because that's the same thing I believe that there is always something that you can learn from someone. And no matter who they are, they can be someone junior in class than you, they could be someone senior to you, they could be a professor, they couldn't even be someone you just met like a couple of minutes ago. Like there is something very beautiful to take away from everyone. You just have to have open eyes and ears to listen and observe. So that's why and as you said that there should always be one why, there should always be one uh, golden lining to which you should always look up to, and no matter whatever setbacks come, you should just keep focusing on that. So I have certain people in my life which are my golden lining, and I do things just to make them happy, and
Right.
that lets me go through stuff.
Absolutely.
So
That's good.
right.
And you talked about something, talking about, talking to your professors and everything. When I was
Mhm.
an intern, someone told me this and said, opportunity favors a prepared mind. You need
Wonderful.
you need to put yourself in alignment to where you want to go. So,
Right.
just in continuing our conversation, the fact that you have to be prepared so that when you see that opportunity, because only people who are prepared will be able to take advantage of it. So you need to make sure that you're positioning yourself right. Now,
Right.
sophomore, think about where you want to be after graduation. What companies do I want to work for? You want to work for Google? Okay, how do I get to Google? You want to work for
Right.
Netflix? How do I get to Netflix? You have to start that groundwork now. You want
Right.
business, what does that look like? And also another thing, everybody, I don't care if you're students in Oswego or not, you need to start investing in the stock market. That's something I wish I did and learned about. Start
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how young you are. It doesn't matter. You would really enjoy it, or you'll reap the benefits later.
Right. That's actually one more thing that I was able to relate with you. Like during my winter break, I started reading books on introduction to stock market because like I literally don't know much about it. So I have started reading the books. So hopefully, but yeah, I'm hoping like if I find any trouble, I know where to reach out to now. So that's gonna be wonderful.
I have some videos on my YouTube about it, so definitely.
Right. Definitely. If you can tell your channel's name once again for our viewers, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, so my channel is The Migrant Hope. This is actually the Instagram
Oh,
channel.
okay.
The,
That's wonderful.
we're the only page on YouTube that has that name. Very easy to find.
Perfect.
There. We have videos that come out every single Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Mhm. That's perfect. That's wonderful. We'll definitely go and check that out. But yeah, I won't take much of your time. Thanks again for coming here and sharing your views with us. It was really motivating and really very nice to speak with you. And I wish you all the best and all the success in the coming year. And so I wish to all my viewers. And I'll see you guys around.
All right. Thank
Thank you.
you.